Alright, so May was busier than average. You see, we ended up with 239 calls for the month, averaged out to 7.5 a day. When you average in our transfers, we're up to averaging 9 or 10 a day, which is a little busier than we have been, but the past couple months, 9 and 10 a day has been our new normal. So, keeps the crews busy. Times are still all within line. Classes and students for the month, we taught 10 classes, had 57 students total. We kind of wrapped up our EMR and EMT classes. So we're actually getting ready to start another EMR class. This one is free to students. We got a grant for 20 students. So we initially had 20 signed up. Not everybody showed up the first night of class, so we're still taking some students. If anybody has any first responders that they need to push through, we can get them in that class. Definitely getting into PR and parade season, so you'll see us out in the community. This past weekend with Shrine Early Route, had lots of events. Chest compression fraction, so time on chest and cardiac arrest, we were 84% for the month. My goal is 90. 90 is a lofty goal, but anything above 80 I'm happy with, so we didn't finish out too bad for May. And then 12-week time within 10 minutes is 90%, so had one fall out, but sometimes you're just gonna have those, you can't, 100% is ideal, but sometimes the situation just doesn't allow to get those first 10 minutes in. Second page is all our destinations, that's pretty on par for what we normally do, but I don't really have anything out of the ordinary for the month, unless you guys have questions, comments, or concerns for me.
You certainly were a lot busier in May, but I see last year you were too.
Yeah, about a little over 30 more than last year, but once the weather warms up, we tend to get busier. People get out and like doing the not so bright thing.
Okay. Jeremy?
I sent all you the report, you should have it, 71, I believe what was for last month. We're less than 2 minutes response time, so, like Adam, we've been pretty consistent the last several months as far as call volume, so.
Any questions of either of these gentlemen before we move on? We thank you both. You're welcome, obviously, to stay, but if you need to scoot or later time, that's fine. Jonathan, you're next up.
Yes, sir.
You want to sit up here, please?
Sure.
Well, you're part of the gang.
Okay. I'll provide a report. I also wanted to show you guys what our recruitment materials look like that the funds helped pay for, so that we have been able to have some success. We received $85,808 from Edgar County for provider development funds, things that are intended to increase access for Edgar County residents for mental health services. Through these funds, we did things like recruit for, improve our marketing materials for recruitment. We purchased Relias with that, Relias Learning Management System. We sent somebody to EMDR training. And we, the biggest expense, which was something that was added to the original request, which I brought to you guys at a later date, was that telehealth person, that contracted person who lives in Texas, but who is licensed in Illinois, who's providing licensed clinical social worker services to Edgar County. That was a big one because, as you know, a lot of it's about reach and how many providers are in the area. So some of it's about fighting for those providers, but some of it's about accessing providers that are outside the area. So that was one solution that has been pretty successful. We were able to retain 2.5 full-time employees that would have lost their employment without the funds that paid for their preparation, some extra tech prep work for their licensure. They had a deadline after 2 years in addiction treatment services, the state has a deadline to get a specific credential. If you don't get it, you can't stay in the service or in the field. These funds help pay for that testing expenses, for the licensure expenses and all those things. They're not extremely high-paid jobs, those addiction therapist jobs. So paying for those things out of pocket are make and break, and it has been for a couple employees. I fully plan on, now we've got some momentum and enough staff with that program to continue HRC paying for those expenses so that we don't end up losing people as they start, get trained, hit that deadline to get that credential. So I do plan on continuing with that. We did send somebody to EMDR training. That's that training that is the eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. That's a very specialized type, it's called a modality of therapy, and it's highly effective. It allows us to serve a lot more people. We were able to send one more provider to that. Let's see. We were not able to recruit a full-time recruitment and training person like we really wanted to. We ended up having somebody work a portion of their time, which accounted for $5,000 of the total expenses, went towards paying for a staff member to work on revamping all those materials like you saw in the recruitment, the picture there, but also revamping all the materials for recruiting interns and therapists, and here's our benefit packages, and just making all that way more professional and appealing to a modern applicant. We did recruit Katie Jewell, who is a licensed clinical social worker. She is through contract, so she's the one from Texas. In short, when I look at the changes in staff, we lost 4 people from different positions, and we gained 5 people from those positions. The people, between the gains and the losses, we actually ended up with more qualified individuals that remained. So we ended up with 1 more full-time person than we started with, and 2 of those are licensed, 2 more licensed people instead of unlicensed people, which would be a notch down. And then 2 more that have a bachelor's level that used to be filled by high school level individuals. So we were able to increase our overall credentials and our expertise, and increase by 1 provider. I would have much preferred to increase by more than that, quite frankly. The wait list numbers are at the bottom here. I tried to get a number before I came here today. I do believe we're at 89 now, but I can update that. I can always send that to Lisa or Augie or somebody to share at the meeting. But I do believe we're at 89 as of last Friday anyway, in talking with our access coordinator. You can see we went from 97 up to the 350s and back down to 168. The reason why we were able to get to 89 now has largely been because of that Clark County project that has been pieced together in Clark County. So thanks to that, a lot of Edgar County individuals have received letters. Anybody that was on the wait list will have received a letter requesting that go ahead and contact us, and we're going to enroll you in Marshall, and we'll see you there. Because the funds do have some restrictions on where we can see people, but at the same time, they don't care who we see. It's just as long as we see them at that facility. So we're offering people in Edgar County the same access, that we're offering people in Clark County, as far as you can come now and get services. We have been able to recruit an additional, on top of this, we've been able to recruit an additional clinical director who's a doctorate who has a doctorate in psychology. It's Dr. Julia Wernz. who's a Marshall local, and who previously was the vice president of Valley Professionals, and has extensive experience working in schools and with police departments and emergency personnel. In fact, we're still seeing some of her emergency personnel that followed her from Terre Haute, because, you know, you find somebody like that, you recommend them to your friends. So that's how that works. So as of when I prepared this report, we were sitting at 96 people on the wait list. And like I said, I can provide you with an update again. Was it 96? That's not right. Where'd that come from? Oh, I'm sorry. There's 96 additional people served. That makes more sense.
So, tell me a little bit about the people that are on the wait list. Are those individuals who reached out to you, are those part of the judicial process?
There are individuals that have reached out to us. There would be probably none actually from the judicial process, because we've really been able to work out a very good system with probation on our referrals, where people are encouraged to follow the process and, you know, contact us when they should and enroll. So those individuals are
Okay,
getting
because I know that
access.
when we started this
Yeah.
whole process, that was really the
Yeah, that was a big
focus
issue.
and concern.
Sure, absolutely. I think
And-
we've got a really good system worked out with them to help communicate any missing documentation or any of those missing pieces that sometimes can be big barriers. Like a release of information can be a huge barrier.
Are you anticipating needing to continue with the telehealth person?
We do plan on maintaining them. I have on my short to-do list, it's time to reevaluate the cost effectiveness of that person. So that's what I'm going to be looking at in the immediate future to see if we can retain them. Because they are very expensive. We pay by the hour whether they're producing or not. And so I think at best it's going to be break even, and that's what we were looking at the time. We were kind of between a rock and a hard place. And we were just trying to make a dent in that wait list more than anything.
Other concerns or questions?
You know, it might be interesting about a mental health person from Horizon Health also give us a report on what they do. I mean.
Sure, I
Right?
just came today since the county had given us money. I wanted to make sure to follow up and
Mhm.
provide
That's
a
what I
report on
thought might
that.
be a good idea. Maybe I'm wrong.
Might give you a bigger picture of the county overall and the mental health access.
Of the clients that you guys see, say mental versus addiction, which is higher?
We have more demand for mental health.
Mental health. Okay.
More demand. A lot of our demand for addiction services comes from the judicial system.
Okay.
Because there's other consequences kind of
Mhm.
motivating somebody or they've hit rock bottom.
Is it a high percentage, like 75%, or just lower
Oh, yeah, it's
Really?
probably 70, oh, you mean mental health to,
versus drug addiction?
about 25% addiction treatment versus mental health treatment
Hmm.
in the numbers.
Do your staff help coordinate getting folks into inpatient treatment?
For mental health and addiction, actually. Yeah, we do that when we do an assessment, which determines the level of care they need, and if they need a higher level of care than we offer, then we try to connect them with the appropriate service. And now we have some partners in the region, the Ross Council that you've seen advertisements for and stuff. they're assisting as well with that. Help fill those gaps with rides to there and all that.
Anything else? Jonathan, thank you very much.
It was a pleasure, and thank you for funding the project. I greatly appreciate it. I know we would be hurting greatly, especially in our addiction treatment, because we don't have as many providers, so even though it's only 25%, they're losing 2 people out of that program and be detrimental.
Right.
So,
Thank you.
Okay, Andy, do we have anybody that wishes to speak before we get to regular agenda? Sheriff, did you have anything in particular? Okay. All right, Andy?
I'm working on a diamond building.
What are they doing today?
They're putting in the system, the air conditioning system back in the IT room.
Okay.
That came in Friday, and he called me right before I came to the meeting, saying to get in, so they're putting that in.
Who's doing that, Andy?
Paris Refrigeration.
Okay.
I mean, he was pretty good. I saw him for something, and I said, hey, give me a quote. And I thought it was pretty reasonable, so he's putting that in. We got water problems in the basement there a little bit that I'm trying to work on. We called the city, and they came in, and the sewer was, needed to be backed out. He said it's plugged up, so they came down and did that. And we're probably gonna see about running it. I don't know where any of the lines go there.
Is it their issue or our issue?
They talk like they're gonna pay to figure out where the lines are coming from and where they're going. They're gonna get Jason down there with a camera, and we can determine where the lines are. There's a drop that comes in the manhole that, or down in the ground that's elevated, which is a plastic pipe, and they seem to think that the one that was originally there, because I think all the bathrooms in that building originally were in the basement.
Right.
Bathrooms, kitchens, break rooms, and everything was in the basement. And he says he doesn't think they've ever disconnected that. It's not used, so we may look into disconnecting and actually plugging that stuff up so that you don't have water coming back up in there. So there's just, at this point, we're just trying to figure out where some, I mean, it's not voluminous amounts of water. I've been going down there about every couple of days to look at it. When we got this last rain, there was some water came in from the groundwater that came in. So we need to, and we talked about doing something where we take that first row of concrete out and lifting that up, angling it away from the building. And that needs to be, after this last rain, that does need to be done at some point. I don't know whether we want, I haven't heard from Rowdy yet what his timeline is on getting the wall fixed, but I'd kinda like to get it fixed before we do that. But I did notice he's moving a little bit more. My understanding originally was he would be at our place when he got done with the amphitheater thing.
He's there today.
At the amphitheater, yeah, he's been there last week or so, so I'll try to get a hold of him, may stop and see him. One more thing, Branson's gonna run the electricity for Paris Refrigeration to be able to hook that up back there. And Jerry asked me at the time, I asked him, I said, do you have any lights that we can put on the back of that building? You need to. Right. CIPS has a light on a pole, and I drove by the other night, and it's useless. It doesn't work at all. It comes on really dim and then goes out and comes on really dim. So Jerry asked me if he wanted to put a couple of pack lights. They're called pack lights. You just put them on the side of the building. He said take a couple of them, and I think they probably need to put something like that back there.
After Rowdy's there?
Yes. to illuminate, cause I know, Irwin and the lady that in Jack Levin's old house, that's all I know it as, Kay Huff, said there's a lot of people run around back in there. They find a lot of different paraphernalia and stuff laying in their yards and stuff, so was part of the reason I wanted to clean all that brush up, so they didn't have cover. But it probably wouldn't hurt to keep that illuminated a little bit at night, keep
Well, and then we need that, cause we'll have a camera back.
a camera too, yeah.
Parking lot, don't forget.
Oh, yeah. Josh got a hold of me and said he had, I think, $6,000.
I think it was just somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000. I think.
6 to coat, what, seal cracks, fix,
Seal the cracks, retar it, and then stripe it.
instructor.
For our share,
Yes.
did you get a price for,
They've already approved
Yes.
that.
And
Okay.
theirs was a little bit less, but theirs is a little bit smaller.
right,
So they had approved their side.
okay.
So. And they said they'd have it hopefully get done in was it around August? You'd have it done before the before harvest and everything, because it gets busy with that, I guess. So he wanted to know so we could get everything ordered. So it'll take a little while to get the materials in.
I thought that's pretty cheap.
A lot of labor in that. There was a lot of crack filling and
Yeah,
buckets of tar or whatever you call it, seal or whatever.
watercraft.
And I've been in, since, have you been in lately to see what Gary's
I
got
just
done?
got back at 5:30 last night.
He's got both counters in, he's waiting for the tops, they're making the tops. They told me the tops like this week or next week.
17th or something, 17th sound right?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty quick now,
Yeah.
they'll be ready.
Did you get Ross with him?
I talked to Rob, what was I?
I'm making sure that we don't have to tear up what the guy put
Okay.
in with power and, computer cables.
Okay.
So hopefully,
I'll get a hold, I talked to Ross 2 or 3 times last week when I was down there, but I'll,
yeah, I've been bugging it. He missed his chance to start with. When they first started, he didn't get there,
okay,
and he's been missing him ever since.
okay.
So either get his number where they can set up something, because we don't wanna do like highways sometimes, where they put a brand new highway in and then they gotta dig across it, because they forgot something.
Alright. I remember you saying.
I almost said the state, but I didn't say that.
Is there an alarm system on that building?
I don't think so. We put a camera system on, that ought to help a lot.
And it'll be monitored, so.
Probably need to go by there at night, what the lighting situation is on that building too. I know there's big lights up top, I don't know if those old lights are your money ahead
Front
of
of the
taking.
building's not too bad.
Huh?
Front of the building's not too bad, but that back is dark.
It's dark,
That's why it's being important to get those lights in.
yeah. So, but those ones on the front those are old,
Yeah,
metal halide,
it's a hell of a lot brighter than the back.
yeah. That's all I got.
Any questions, Andy? How about you, Ian?
Yeah, I talked to Andrew last week, stopped in at the shelter, she had 35 animals out there. Problem is, people's been dropping off litters of pups, and she had 11 in one litter and 4 or 5 in another, so. That's one of our issues. There's another issue, and I don't know if you noticed in the paper on Saturday, there's an ad for a part-time person at the shelter. Was gonna have her come in and talk to us today, but we're kind of busy, so I'll have her come in on Wednesday, so. So a couple issues need to be resolved. I talked to Lud and Russ about the part-time person, they both agreed to probably need to do something. Tony can only work 5 hours 1 week because he's on chemo, and then his regular 20 hours next week, so it's a lot of pressure on her. Space that 1 week, so.
Well, was I wrong, or didn't the committee ask her to go ahead and advertise
She,
and hire somebody?
well, she thought she could get by.
No, I
with-
didn't, I know that,
Yeah,
but didn't you,
She
We-
was told to do it.
yes,
but she did it. So
I had-
it was on the paper. It's in
she
the
did
paper on
advertise
Saturday.
and nobody came in?
Or it just was in
Just
put it
Saturday's
in.
paper?
Oh, okay,
That's pretty
all
much
right,
put it in.
all right.
She says she doesn't get very good responses as far as people that would be qualified to work in the shelters. But I asked her to come in on today, but I called her and told her to come in on Wednesday. Another issue needs to be resolved too, but I'll let her explain that. I don't quite understand what it was. Be better if she explained it to me.
Does the other committee then know what's going on?
Russ does, I talked to him.
We discussed it.
Yeah,
Is it solvable?
yes,
Sounds like.
I think she's already solved it, so
All right.
I'll let her explain.
Thank you. Russ?
Don't have anything other than, I mentioned that we need some more photos of the.
I got some stuff for you.
You got some stuff, good,
Very good.
because I don't think they want us up there poking
I
around
just,
looking at it.
by the time I got them, I just printed stuff out for you guys were coming in, so.
So do you have that available?
Yeah, I was figuring getting down to the courthouse, yes, so I was.
All right.
Yeah, I can do it now if you want, or you
Yeah,
want
go
the
ahead.
courthouse? Here, I got stuff they sent for the courthouse. Here's the new report, some extra pictures with it here.
I noticed they took that one top, I don't know what you call that, a finial?
I think that's what you call it.
Is that gonna be copper when they get it down?
I believe so.
Now, we
Some of the
haven't,
stuff.
they asked for us to approve, right?
Yeah, they're waiting on Michael on some stuff. So,
Well,
yeah.
but I think Andy needs to be involved in whatever he thinks needs to be involved looking at that. I mean, we need
Yeah,
to
we
put
need
our
to
eyes
see
on it.
this.
Sure.
Yeah, we don't wanna approve a picture of something and say that's fine, do you?
No, they're supposed to be bringing something down.
Okay, I just wanna make sure that you guys get to see it, and that you go, yes.
Can we go up there?
That's what I was just getting ready to ask if we could don a hard hat and go up there.
Not a chance in it.
Yeah, I imagine we can.
right up
I'd like to.
Okay.
I mean, this is what you're approving, I'm going by. You can see, you can tell a lot more when you're up there looking at it.
Well, they haven't put those finials up there yet.
No, I know, I saw, they just took the one down,
Right.
that was the one that had a hole in it.
You can write that tube down, Eddie. Write that sentence line
Whoever, Augie says it makes a heck of a noise when the stuff goes
The
down.
other day, that stuff hit that metal
I
trailer.
bet all the screaming with you going down the pipe would be.
As long as they don't throw anything in on top of it.
And then he was in earlier too, and they're, he said they got some masons looking at that. Oh, there's a picture showing here right above the dormers. There were some of those. Kind of up in here where some of this stuff was all coming apart.
Yeah.
He's got some people coming in to look at that.
Good.
He said he'll send me some more pictures he took this morning, but I haven't got them yet. So I'll forward them on to you as soon as I get them.
Core is the one who told you that?
Yeah.
Harrison.
Harrison, yeah. Like I said, they're looking at the wooden dormers, what they're gonna replace those, and then, like I said, some of the masonry up along is coming apart, so they're trying to get, see about getting some masons in to look at that before they take a fix on that stuff. While they're there,
For a long time.
it's coming along really quick, he said.
Good. Well,
So-
yeah,
Then we need to.
On the roofing part of things, so, yeah.
Have they got their paint, have they done their, training yet?
I think on here, if it's, I think it's on this thing here, one, and there was the last one. It says 100% of crew have completed their training, that's their new report, Friday's report.
All right.
So they're 100% done, I think the last report said all but one, so.
Okay, cool.
There was like 4 or 5 days that no one was there. What was that?
Training.
about? Training.
Think with her.
I don't know. I've been going.
I just noticed 4 or 5 days, nobody was there doing anything.
Yeah, they
Okay.
quit too high on Friday.
But if you look at some of the pictures, you can see where they started doing some of that copper around the
Yeah.
edges and
and you can
and
see
all
it
that kind of
at
stuff.
night real well, when you drive by, you can see the lights flashing off the top, it's harder to see it during the day.
Yeah, it'd be kinda nice to sneak up, well, not sneak up there.
I like it up there.
Yeah, you go right ahead.
Yeah, you too.
Let me go out
I'll
next
do
to
it.
you.
Just gotta watch the sun's on a certain, they might go
Yeah,
blind or
no,
something,
they're
you're looking at it.
Maybe they could finish your signing after they're done here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's much better.
I've worked on a lot
Hey,
of
should have some,
platforms,
I
a
should have
lot
some
better
more,
now.
like I said.
That is much better. And they're like pretty steady.
But we got to be proactive.
But the slate's going down a lot quicker than they thought.
Okay.
And then, actually, I got one more thing for you guys, I don't know if you wanted it or not, but it's just, I guess I almost forgot about this. I don't know exactly, they sent it to me, so I've read one anyways, it's kind of a progress schedule timeline. It goes back all the way to the beginning, but,
Yeah.
so if you look through this, kind of where they think they're at, I guess. So I don't know if they've updated it to show their, how fast they're moving or not, but.
Yeah, we were watertight as of the 31st.
Got that
That one
last
we
week.
did, yeah.
But that came with Friday's report as well. And since you guys were gonna be here, I figured I'd just print them out, make it easier for people.
Good idea, thanks.
Well, this picture of, I assume the wood there, is there some damage or something on anything that they didn't anticipate so far?
If there has, he hasn't mentioned it,
Okay,
so. I don't think they found anything like with decking or anything like that in real bad condition or anything as far as
I
I know.
remember they had allowance in the bid, I
Right.
think, of what, 30%?
I don't
I
remember.
think.
But he hasn't shown a whole lot of concern for that kind of stuff if it has. But I'll definitely check with him and find out.
Boy, that copper looks nice, doesn't it? Did better. Little humor. Thank you. Any questions that
If you guys come
you
up with
guys
anything,
have, that you can have Josh, direct to Josh, and he can,
I'll find anything I can for you
for
soon.
Friday?
As soon as you let me know, I'll forward it
So
on.
you're
to you.
gonna check on us going
Yeah,
up there
Yeah, I'll find out on that
Yeah.
in the Finial.
in the Finial to make sure that they know we want to physically see it to approve it?
And I know they're trying to get the little spiral things are basically supposed to be getting brought in to get approved from Michael and you guys as well, I think, the little corner spiral things.
Yeah.
These little,
Cross things.
yeah, there's a couple of, you know, there's a couple up in the bell tower.
I did not.
There's a couple of them up there. Are they gonna replace any of those, do you know?
I don't know, I didn't.
Okay.
I mean, are you wanting some of them restored, I guess what you're thinking?
I
They're up there, I
definitely-
could probably get, if they're gonna have basements and stuff, they can probably put some stuff back if you've got them.
Yeah, I'd like to go up and get them. I don't know if there's any place over in Bloomington, Indiana that still makes that stuff. There used to be a place I got stuff from my place when I was doing it over there.
Well, would you let Harrison know
Yep.
that,
I mean, they're broke off pretty,
Yeah,
if I remember right, I don't know if you could drill them, put a
I think
rod
that's
in there.
what happened, is the rod that held them on broke off and they fell off. I mean, one or two that are up there in good shape.
Yeah.
They're still, they can put back on.
They were taken off or whatever, but they're, yeah,
I think they found them in the yard.
I'm thinking you're right.
But I definitely want them to know that those are up there.
Well,
No, like you said,
set up there and get them fixed.
Yeah.
But it's something they could look at, you can have one of the masons come in to look at that other stuff too that he was wanting to get addressed for you guys.
There used to be a place, and I think they're out, but it's still there. It was Wolverine Limestone over in Bloomington, Indiana. And when you went in, it was a great big room of all kinds of statues and stuff that they had artisans make. And they were just, it was phenomenal. So, anyway, it can be made relatively easy. I don't know what they charge,
if there's time?
if there's time.
Anything else, Russ?
I don't think so.
Carl?
Personnel policy, we had some discussion last week with 911, and our personnel policy was last updated, I think the date on it's 2018. I know you've had some meetings in the past, and I haven't been involved in it, so I don't know what all was involved, but one person told me that they had a bunch of information, but it's, no one's done anything, so we need to get back on that.
That's
And
part
get-
of what, with
That's
Jess.
yes, right. And when we get done here, we need to go into closed session on personnel. There's several issues that we need to talk about. But we need to get on that personnel policy.
I think we were at the point where the only thing that was holding us up was the state's attorney's office.
And vacation policy.
Right.
Vacation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we were good to go,
Okay,
right?
all right,
So we need to get back on that, yeah.
yeah. And I know last week we met about the final plans on the jail.
Right, that's on the list.
So I'll let you address that one, but we need to talk about that.
It's on the agenda too.
Right. And so I'll wait till we get to it and we'll talk about it.
No, we can talk about it now.
You have that again?
You have the plans?
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's a ledger size anyway.
I've got it.
Here you go.
I was just thinking, we need to show Jonathan while he's here, with, the medical area, tell him what we've got in mind for, a place for, his people come in.
You
so
got the
they
big
can
one?
Talk to the clients.
Here's your cup, Andy. Thanks. All right, this is the booking area in here, okay? And medical exam, and then you've got a medical cell, and this would offer a viewing area where there's separation.
Okay.
So
So
Carl-
I'll put somebody in medical room to talk to somebody in the medical cell.
Right.
I see.
So, Carl, if you have specific questions other than
That was
showing
the
input.
main thing on the medical, that it feels like it's adequate for your protection and everything.
Yeah, I think it will be.
Yeah, okay.
So which one am I looking at, A102 or A101?
It's under furniture.
Josh?
Which one am I supposed to be looking at, 101 or 102?
101 is the footprint, 102 has furniture, that's why if you look on
Okay.
101, there's no booking counter, because they consider it furniture.
Okay, and which direction's north?
Sorry.
New one?
Okay, all right, well, I know, because it's going back, it's bounced a few.
People keep asking me.
This.
Be like that.
So,
The-
north is like that.
Okay.
the-
This would be the road out in front of us here.
Top of the page is north.
That's where Springfield is, I didn't understand.
Total bed cameras on this.
So what we have here is the accepted footprint by the committee, and we're talking roughly 17.7 for this, cost estimate at this point. And we've just rounded it to 18. And we're looking for, we've told all of our core and Michael that we still expect them to look for any economies. But as far as the footprint, in order to move forward, we have to be there in order for USDA and everything to move forward.
And to get to your lettings and keep you on
Right.
schedule.
Keep us on schedule. We need to make sure that everybody's, the official that is the footprint. Now, I will tell you also that we got word late last week that the interest rate fell by 1/8 of a point. Doesn't sound like much, but that's almost $200,000 for the life of the project, so to me, that's pretty good money. And it may fall again before we actually start using their funds. So we're locked in not to exceed, but if it drops, we get to take advantage, but if it goes up, we don't have to go up, all right?
Now, is that USDA?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Now, on our other part, if it drops, we can refinance
Okay.
at any time at no penalty. That has not dropped.
Okay.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna ask, if we need to maybe kind of keep an eye on things, and when it, if it does drop, then we can,
Absolutely.
you know.
Yep. So, that's where we're asking, that's what we're gonna ask of the board on Wednesday, is to actually vote on that as the footprint, so that everything is moving forward in a way that we can stay on course and satisfy USDA and the feds and everybody else.
Start getting better estimates. and
Right.
Keep you opening up on time.
So in a nutshell, what was cut out this last week?
This area, which is the
Cooking and
booking and
jail.
Kitchen,
and all that was
Laundry.
reduced by about this much.
So before it was just a rectangle,
Yeah,
now
this
it
was-
actually juts in.
Well, of course, you still have the jug here and
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
What is the bed count now?
I believe it's 72 in the cell portion, the jail part of it.
And you might notice that you've got holding, padded holding, padded holding, holding and holding. And we used to have a regular holding cell down here, but it's moved across the way to right here. So you still have the same amount.
so is that different than what we looked at last Friday? or
No,
last
that's the
week?
same. Yeah,
Just a smidgen.
Yes.
Just a couple of rooms have been, it's the
From,
same.
from what we saw last week,
Just
Same
for,
amount of rooms have just been moved, right?
and they added a restroom in this book here.
They put a door in here, which Jeff wanted, okay? And there was a holding cell here, and that's moved over to here. And then they expanded that.
so is that, this holding cell that's over here is the one that, when they bring in.
That's the one that would have been,
The
I
drunk
mean,
cell.
originally we had it where it was a direct,
So that's the one that, like, when you arrest
Right.
someone, bring them in, you'll
they
throw
go
them
in right there, yeah.
initially, so you start your process.
Right.
All right,
But they slid, this was this way a little bit, the Sally Port, they moved it that way, hoping that this would save some money having that one continuous wall than having a jog in it.
right.
That they were trying to have some economies of scale there. And
Is
then they
it-
added that restroom there too.
Is there, two,
That's a, I mean, that's a two-bay right now.
two bay, are we gonna bid it two bay?
Yeah, we'll build alternates on that.
Alternate, one versus two,
So like 911 has their own entrance all back in here, so that's,
that's,
I think that's a better deal.
yep, good. So you're happy with the
Yeah, the only
revisions that we
thing-
made,
We talked about today is this medical cell,
right?
possibly put just one of them little view windows
Right.
in here, so if we do have somebody in there, you can just see
Right.
them, instead of having to go in there.
Go in
and out.
there, I
Right.
agree,
Yep.
that's a good idea.
I think that's,
But that doesn't change the footprint.
Yeah,
There
sorry.
may be
Right.
additional things that Jeff sees and goes,
Right.
hey, we forgot this, or
Yeah.
we realized, as long as we don't change the floor plan, we can change,
Right,
minimally
got the door
change
back in right
walls.
there, so you have.
so if, you can park out here and walk in there
Yeah,
without
you
having to
could.
raise the doors
Yeah,
up.
you could.
Good,
Just things that we're
Yeah,
letting.
well, I mean, that's two or three little,
right, okay,
but the footprint, yeah.
We got this, what, last Thursday? Whatever, it
Yeah,
doesn't
was
matter.
Thursday morning, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so you're satisfied
Yep.
with this, Matt?
yeah.
So-
Ryan, I assume is
Josh,
too?
yeah, he was in there a while ago looking at it.
Okay, good.
I come out here and had Josh print a big one off, cause I had my glasses on, and I had a magnifying glass. I couldn't able to-
Okay,
And so we're building out for 72 rooms right now, or 72 beds right now?
That, it's alternate to do that.
yeah, they're thinking possibly some of this upper part in a couple of the cell areas they might not finish out, but they're doing alternate bids in order to keep the costs down.
I
But
hope we
it's,
never have
but it's,
72. Unless
the
somebody's
structure's
paying us.
still there, so you could, you know.
Sure,
we
you gotta
can-
do the structure now, but
Right.
maybe not finish
Right.
it.
I think everybody's done a really great job, Sheriff and Matt, and really appreciate everybody's input. So I just wanted to make sure we talked about it this morning, Carl, to make sure everybody's, and if anybody wants to get one of these bigger ones, they're available to
I can
anybody
bring
who
whatever you
wants
guys
one, you just let
I
Josh
need-
know.
That's the,
That's that one right there, just bigger.
I need a big copy of it sometime.
And then the next one, underneath, Carl, shows like there's stuff that's missing as far as furniture, okay?
Like
Now
the
this-
booking counter doesn't
the
show on
booking
my
counter.
sheet.
Right.
The,
That's considered
Right.
furniture.
You got a big
Yeah.
open room here,
Right.
but actually, that's considered furniture.
Right.
right, and like in 911, the councils aren't in there,
Right.
they're on that one.
Yep.
So it makes you understand or helps you to understand the facility and how it might function. So these are available to whoever wants them. Carl? Bud?
Well, no, I'm fine. I was just comparing these two.
Lisa?
Not a lot.
That's unusual.
See, I think our health department meeting was before our last study session. To my knowledge, we have not hired a dentist, but at least we're offering a more competitive salary. It's on the agenda to approve Abby Barrett as our new member for the health board, replacing Rodney Wolf, who had resigned. I talked to Abby this last week, and I think she has a clear understanding of what is needed. Broadband, Terry Sullivan, Angie Garwood, and I went to the Interstar annual meeting, and we're really glad we did. And quite a few board members knew who we were and why we were there. And they had at first stated that they weren't interested, but during the public comment section and session, and that was a much more interactive meeting than I was anticipating. I enjoyed that forum. Somebody stood up and said, "So what about broadband?" Because they read Gary's very helpful articles in the paper. And so after that, they stated, we are doing our due diligence and we are studying the possibility and the opportunity. And so we have a new recruit to our group, which is exciting. And so we're thinking that our next step is, and Terry Sullivan's coordinating it, to get the person who is so involved for rural electrification, the whole Illinois group, who is the one that's up at Joe Carroll, and arranging a Zoom call with some of the folks at Interstar on the board, and him and our group, to fully explore it, so that if they end up saying no, it's an educated no, not a gut no. So, and I understand that they are, they're trying to get in a better financial position because they've been pretty overextended. But at the same time, it's to the point of determining what your mission is and does broadband fit it. So that's where we are with that. Chamber, we've had some good UCCI hosted or extension hosted webinars, and I have forwarded several of them onto the chamber. Local economic development, Main Street, those kinds of things. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions of Lisa on any of her issues? Okay, you wanna grab the agenda? I think we've discussed several of the items. The sheriff and the county clerk will submit semi-annual reports to us. The memorandums of understanding, we went ahead and put them in the agenda at the direction of our attorney, so that in case they have them ready, we could act upon it. I have not heard anything thus far this morning. Have you heard anything, Liz? Have you heard anything from Stuart? No. The memorandum. So Bill and Rick were working on those, so they're on the agenda.
I guess I have one question. I know the one on the deputies, I understand that, but I noticed there's one for jailers and dispatchers.
Yeah,
What's,
those are it's the same options.
okay,
Yeah, and there's what, one or two correctional officers that have that, or that are eligible.
Or the transfer,
Yeah,
two dispatchers.
you know, the dispatchers.
Maybe
can't
three, I don't think there's
consider-
any corrections.
Okay.
Maybe
I think
one,
there's
it's
one.
a short time if it
right,
is.
yes, but
Okay.
we wanna make sure that we've got
Right,
two
okay.
things,
I
yes,
understand.
sorry.
I was thinking about that the other day, but I didn't, yeah, go ahead.
No, that's it. I'm just getting back in the swing, so I may be forgetting it. Budget, we're still all right. We have a meeting with state folks on possibility of grants to help us with the elevator and the sewer line out to the jail. We're gonna be getting the audit fairly shortly. In fact, hopefully we'll get at least a draft copy that everybody can see here soon. That's basically it for me. The big stuff we're working on, we're all working on. So, any questions of me specifically that you think I may have forgotten? Okay, motion to go into closed session? Oh, Augie, sorry.
No, I just remembered, I got an email last week from Castle Finn, and there was maybe some concern or interest in amending their winery license, and I told her that I emailed her back, we did not have a phone conversation, but something to do with South Fork being able to sell beer, and Castle Finn cannot if there's not a special event going on. So I'm gonna speak to her in person and
Maybe they can submit something to us and then
Yeah.
we can see what the board's wishes are and maybe amend our classifications.
or maybe clear up a misunderstanding of what they have versus what Castle Finn has.
Yeah.
So just wanted to mention that to you, and I'll follow up Wednesday and
That's
let
fine.
you know what I come up with.
Jeff, did you have anything for the general?
Nope.
Do you have anything for the general? Okay. Motion to go in closed session for the for personnel? Yes. Carl moves, Russ seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay, we're gonna go into closed session, folks. Thanks for everybody who input. Call upon. Anything else to come before the regular study session? Hearing none, motion to adjourn. Russ beat you by a hair this time. Russ moves, Andy seconds, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Thank you.